Tuesday, January 7th, and this is now on HNN.
This will require Iran to de-escalate.
The defense secretary says the U.S. is not seeking a war with Iran, but is prepared to finish one. I'm Natalie Brand at the White House with how the administration is defending the decision to strike a top Iranian general.
It was kind of a little bit panicking there.
Right now, we're awaiting new details from HPD regarding the work furlough escapee killed by police in Kailua.
I couldn't see, the smoke was so thick.
Crews have been battling blazes for nearly 5 months now, but at this hour, nearly 200 brush fires are still burning across Australia.
What will the cars of tomorrow look like? I'm Cara Suboy at CES in Las Vegas with a sneak peek into the future.
These stories, and we'll try to explain those mysterious lights spotted over the islands, coming up on This Is Now. We begin the show with a live look at Washington. The time there now is 4:31. It's looking pretty snowy out there over the nation's capital. Right now, we're waiting the Trump administration to brief congressional leaders a little bit later today on that U.S. airstrike that killed that top Iranian general. A lot of developments to get to there today. Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan alongside Lacey here. Let's get right to that top story.
Iran's foreign minister tells CBS News his country will hit, quote, legitimate targets in response. Natalie Brown reports from the White House.
President Trump defended his decision to target Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, calling him a terrorist.
He was a monster, and he's no longer a monster. He's dead.
The president says Soleimani was preparing for more attacks on Americans.
He was planning a very big attack and a very bad attack for us and other people, and we stopped him.
Iran has vowed revenge for the killing, and Pentagon sources called Iranian military movements, quote, very troubling.
Our top priorities remain, first, the safety and security of American personnel and our partners, and second, our readiness to conduct operations to respond to Iranian aggression.
The U.S. military is moving more assets, including B-52 bombers.
The United States is not seeking a war with Iran, but we are prepared to finish one.
Administration officials are beginning to brief members of Congress about the president's decision to launch the strike and its repercussions.
We need answers to some crucial questions, and there are many. Here are the two that are most on Americans' minds. What are Iran's most probable responses to the strike on Soleimani? And are we prepared for each of these responses?
Democratic lawmakers are considering war powers resolutions to try and limit the president's ability to take military action against Iran. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
All right, thanks, Natalie, there. We're going to stay with this story. We know a lot of you are very interested in this because of the implications it has. We have a number of bases. We learned yesterday many of those bases are on higher alert around the world. We didn't get specifics on exactly what that meant from the Pentagon, but we know there is a raised level of alert, and we have many military institutions here on the islands.
Yeah, and with those tensions on the rise in the Middle East, the Pentagon is sending thousands of troops to the region. As Chip Reed reports, overseas deployments are part of a soldier's job, but that doesn't make them any easier for the families left behind.
Just like that.
Yes.
Your life went from normal family life to
Chaos.
Rachel Hurdle and her husband, Sergeant Alexander Hurdle, were visiting her family in Ohio when he got the call to head to the Middle East.
The previous two deployments were all planned, and so we had time to get ready. This one threw us for a loop.
Let's go. Hurdle is one of thousands of servicemen and women of the 82nd Airborne Division that specializes in parachute assault operations and in responding to emergency crisis situations anywhere in the world.
You admire him for what he does?
I do. I cannot imagine leaving my children, and I know that it breaks his heart.
It's just sad. Everything he's going to miss. Sad.
Jill Jarogowski's husband left for the Middle East on Sunday.
You're so proud of him, but it's shattering at the same time. It is the most unexplainable feeling.
Hurdle and her husband have one biological son who is 8 and 3 foster children.
That my children have finally bonded with a man that wants to be their daddy. And if he were not to come home, how would I tell that to them?
This is what military families go through all the time.
It is. But we often don't say it out loud.
For security reasons, the soldiers of the 82nd Airborne Division have been ordered not to take their cell phones and not to tell their families where they're going. And if history is any guide, they could be gone for 9 months or even more. Chip Reed, CBS News, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
All right, we're going to keep following that story. Have the very latest for you coming up tonight at 5 and 5:30 on KGMB and KHNL. So stay with us, HNN, and all our digital platforms. But right now we need to get to some top stories from here at home.
Yep, we're learning 2 elderly women were robbed at gunpoint in Salt Lake. Police say a man armed with a handgun demanded the belongings of a 77-year-old and an 80-year-old woman at about 5:30 yesterday morning. We're told he got away in a light-colored vehicle. No arrests have been made so far, but hopefully.
All right, another developing story from here.
You have a man fatally shot by police in Kailua yesterday was a work furlough escapee who had been on the run since November. That's according to multiple sources. Mileka Lincoln joins us from the scene with the latest details.
Yes, that officer-involved shooting took place around 3:30 in the afternoon yesterday here at Aikahi Gardens. And according to an eyewitness, they reported hearing at least 4 gunshots before watching the suspect fall out of a car when officers then immediately began performing CPR. Sources have identified the suspect as 33-year-old Dallas Pierce. Court documents indicate he was a felon with 9 prior convictions, most recently sentenced in 2012 to 10 years in prison for burglary. And records show Pierce was nearing the end of that sentence when he got a day pass on work furlough for November 19th and took off. He's been on the run ever since. Sources say officers had tracked him down here to Aikahi Gardens, where they reportedly found him yesterday with a gun inside a parked car just outside the housing complex. Now, the Honolulu Police Department released a brief statement Monday saying in a news conference that would be planned for later today they would reveal more of what happened. So it's unclear at this time what prompted the shooting and whether Pierce fired the weapon he allegedly had on him. But we can confirm, as you mentioned, this was the first officer-involved shooting of the year. Last year, there were 9 on Oahu. 5 were fatal. The year before, in 2018, there were 12 officer-involved shootings, 6 of which were fatal. Now, Pierce was initially taken in critical condition to Adventist Health Castle. He died later at the hospital. It was at the hospital that we're told police also arrested a woman, April Fujihara, in connection with the incident for hindering prosecution and other outstanding warrants. But her exact involvement with Pierce and the situation that unfolded here at Aikahi Gardens, or the amount of time that he had been essentially missing since walking out of work furlough, is unclear. More details, which we are hoping the Honolulu Police Department will be able to provide when they hold that press conference later today. For now, back to you guys.
Thank you, Mileka. We did just learn that press conference is going to take place around 3 or 3:30. We're going to bring it to you live here on Facebook, HNN's Facebook page, on our streaming services. So look for that push alert. And again, that's probably going to happen around 3 or 3:30. Moving on, we got some new video into our newsroom.
Puerto Rico's governor has declared a state of emergency in the U.S. territory following 2 days of powerful earthquakes. The latest struck just before dawn as a magnitude 6.4, cutting power to the entire island. Near the quake's epicenter, at least 1 person is reported dead.
And for our podcast listeners who can't see this video stream right now, we're looking at some pretty severe devastation. Right now we're seeing some grocery stores with the shelves knocked over, some homes destroyed, or at least partially destroyed. Right here, take a look at this for those who can see it. This is that famous landmark in Puerto Rico. This is what it looked like before. That's Punta Ventana. That's what it looked like. It was sort of like a natural bridge arch rockway. Now it's gone. I mean, I've seen that in postcards and things before.
On social media.
Yeah, that's before right there. It's sort of a natural bridge, makes a natural hole in the cliff there right along the ocean coast. And now here it's going to come completely crumbled, gone forever. That's been there for tens of thousands, possibly millions of years. I'm not a geologist, I'm not sure. Certainly a long time, but now...
Well known, very well known.
Well known and now gone forever, sadly. All right, we got some more international news to get to.
Wildfires continue to burn out of control in parts of Australia, and with another round of hot, dry, and windy weather in the forecast, fire crews are really racing to contain the biggest hotspots. CBS's Jamie Yukas has a story from New South Wales.
Hundreds of Australians are starting to sift through the rubble of their still smoldering homes, returning to smog-filled towns.
I couldn't see, the smoke was so thick.
And empty stores.
They evacuated the tourists. That was our income, which is all our cream and our profit.
Thousands have been left homeless. Many in rural areas have spent days without electricity and drinking water. Now, record high temperatures and severe drought are making it tough to battle the unprecedented bushfires. One of the biggest challenges for fire officials right now is this giant plume of smoke that's hampering air operations near the Port of Eden in New South Wales. As the fire roared through this logging community, it started 75,000 tons worth of wood chips on fire. It could now take weeks to put out. But Australian firefighters won't be battling the flames alone. On Monday, a crew of 20 veteran firefighters from California who fought some of the state's most devastating wildfires suited up and shipped out to Melbourne.
We're definitely there to represent the United States Forest Service.
Leonard Dimakulongan is in charge of the crew.
Getting along with fellow firefighters from another country, state, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Those California firefighters are expected to help out here in southeastern Australia for at least the next month. And there is concern going into the weekend with more intense fire weather predicted. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Kaya, Australia.
All right, let's take you outside to talk about our weather conditions here. We're looking at Punchbowl from our vantage point from this live feed in the digital center. You know, powerful winds have prompted officials to issue some high wind warnings for some areas. It's really windy. Look at that bouncing out there. Our camera's just bouncing around. Billy V's got an update for us.
Aloha, I'm Billy V sitting in for Guy Hoggy on this Aloha Tuesday. Let's give you an idea of what your weather's going to be like. We're recording this about 9 a.m. here on this Tuesday morning. First of all, your ocean alerts that we're watching out for. We've got a gale warning that's in effect for Maui County and the Big Island waters. That's all these areas shaded in orange. You can see that here and also in between the islands on Maui County. That's going to be up until tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Small craft advisories also are in effect, and that is for the areas shaded in light here as we go around the islands. And a high surf advisory is for the east-facing shores of all Hawaiian islands. And those surf heights are going to get big because of the trade wind swell. Also, we've got wind advisories for you. Lanai, Kaho'olawe, central Maui. Those winds are going to get 30 miles per hour, maybe gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Most of Hawaii Island also under that wind advisory. That's for the interior areas. Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa's also got some areas of concern, but mostly the upper, along the east edge and upper north section of Hawaii Island, that's where a high wind warning is also in effect. Let's go ahead and show you the surf real quickly, and that's being affected by the weather and the wind. 6 to 10 feet, and that's a trade wind swell there, but those surf heights are going to get bigger, 8 to 12 tomorrow. That's why high surf advisory is there. It's a little bit lower depending on where you are on all the other shorelines. So 7-day forecast for you. 15 to 30 mile per hour winds today. They'll be back down to 15 to 25 for the next couple of days. We may get some possible thunder showers from that upper low that we showed you a little bit earlier, but look at Friday, 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. It's going to be windy, gusty, strong winds, and you'll have sunshine, so a lot of rainbows with those windward Mauka showers drifting leeward at times. As always, get the latest on air, online, on the mobile app, and at hawaiinewsnow.com.
A Hawaii Island woman is worried about rat lungworm disease after she says she found a slug in her deli sandwich. Shonda Rodriguez tells us she bought 2 sandwiches from Island Naturals in Hilo last week. Her husband ate one, and she says she made the disturbing discovery after sharing avocado from her sandwich with her youngest son. The slug she sent to a UH Hilo lab tested positive for rat lungworm parasites, and now they're taking an anti-worm medication as a precaution.
Like, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, it's disgusting. Like, piece that came out of my mouth was around, like, 1 inch. But I noticed when I took a picture that there was a second half of the slug.
Rodriguez filed a complaint with the health department, which sent an inspector. Island Naturals, they still have their green placard under the state's food safety program. The owner says the regular local and mainland suppliers were not able to provide lettuce, so a worker decided to use some from the produce stand and washed it inadequately. The company says it's going to stop using local leaf lettuce in any of its kitchens.
I know this is one of those stories that's trending big time on our website and digital platforms. You can see it on our Facebook page or just go to our app or .com. You can see why with a picture like that, why people might be interested. You can clearly see the sluggy mess in the middle of that sandwich. Probably not the best if you're trying to have lunch right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
apologize.
apologies if you're eating lunch.
Yes.
But check your salad.
Always check your salad.
Yes.
Abide by those guidelines they're telling us, because it is a very, very important message. All right, moving on, we have some more health news to get to.
Now that the book has been closed on 2019, health officials can say it was the worst year for the measles since 1992. The majority of cases were among people who were not vaccinated against measles. 6 more cases of measles were reported to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in December. That brings the U.S. case total to 1,282. That's the highest number of cases in 27 years. Cases were confirmed in 31 states. New York alone accounted for almost 3/4 of the cases. 128 people who had measles in 2019 had to be hospitalized.
And there were cases here in our state, and of course we were following the developments that was happening there in Samoa. They're just coming out of their measles crisis now, and we'll continue to follow that story for you. But there's a new crisis, health crisis looming in Asia.
This is crazy. A mysterious strain of pneumonia has infected dozens of people in central China. Health officials are ramping up health screenings at airports and train stations. Christy Lustout reports there are fears of larger outbreak as millions will soon begin family trips for the Lunar New Year.
It's not MERS, it's not SARS, and one health expert says it is likely a brand new viral pneumonia. A mysterious new cluster of pneumonia cases is raising concerns here and across Asia. The Hong Kong chief executive Carrie Lam led her weekly press conference today, not with an update on the recent pro-democracy protests, but on how her government is taking immediate action to help prevent the spread of this mysterious virus that was first seen in the city of Wuhan, China. Now, flights and trains from Wuhan are coming into Hong Kong. Relevant authorities are stepping up health inspection at the border using handheld infrared devices. Lam also announced that this week there will be a law revised under the Prevention and Control of Diseases Ordinance, requiring doctors to report those who have suspected symptoms and to give hospitals the authority to hold patients in isolation wards. According to the World Health Organization, symptoms include fever, with a number of patients having difficulty breathing. There are at least 59 cases. They've been reported in Wuhan, 7 patients reported to be in serious conditions, no deaths reported. China has not been able to identify this mysterious strain, but it has ruled out SARS and MERS. Several countries have issued travel advisories, including South Korea and Singapore. And even though there have been no reported signs of human-to-human transmission, concern is high, especially ahead of the Chinese New Year holiday. That's when hundreds of millions of people will be traveling. And that annual mass migration is just weeks away. Christy Lustout, CNN, Hong Kong.
Oh, concerning stuff there, especially we're also talking about the Olympics. A lot of people are going to be traveling there. And we got some news regarding the Olympics, some positive stuff.
Some positive stuff. A Tokyo museum today unveiled official art posters for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. 20 works by Japanese and non-Japanese artists are on display at the Museum of Contemporary Art Tokyo. Asao Tokolo, designer of the 2020 Games emblem, made 2 of them. He said he hopes the Games will be an opportunity to create harmony.
Very cool artwork going on there.
it.
I know, there's so many, there's 22 different ones, but all sorts of things. It almost looks like an anime things there, and some using some very primary colors and some just symmetrical shapes that rings like the Olympics with those people jumping around.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like seeing those. I would love to see that. Only way I'm gonna see that though is if our boss sends me to the Olympics.
Oh my gosh, I think you should go. We should take this on the road.
Please,
This is
now
not from Tokyo.
We're begging for it. Please.
I still can't believe it's 2020. I feel like we talked about this for so long and now it's here. It's 2020. It's gonna happen.
This is 2020. Yeah. My Barbara Walters worst impression ever. All right, okay, this next story is so cool because I want one in our newsroom, please. Right? Another thing I'm requesting from our boss.
Pizza, staple in most college student diets, including ours. And the University of North Florida is bringing the cheesy delight to students with the press of a button. A vending machine dubbed the Pizza ATM has recently been installed in one of the residence halls on campus. Now, according to the company, the pizza base is pre-cooked. Toppings are added, and then it's boxed up and placed in in a refrigerated compartment. Once a customer buys a pizza, it's moved to the convection oven and is ready to eat in just minutes. The university says it's one of the only campuses in the U.S. with this tasty option. I want one in my house.
How has no one thought of this to now?
This is amazing, and it comes out hot.
Yeah, I was
There's an
sort
oven
of
in
thinking
there.
it was gonna. I've seen the frozen pizzas in like gas station, vending machines, truck stops, that kind of stuff, but never
This one
hot.
is literally grab and go. You can just eat it on the go.
Oh, that's not gonna help with the freshman 15.
Amazing.
There's so many people. I ate a lot of pizza in that dorm room. All right, so what we got next? Oh, I loved watching this develop over sunrise when you guys started getting these reports in of a UFO.
Right.
Started having to figure it out this morning. So tell us what happened.
Seeing all those mysterious streaks of lights over Hawaii skies early this morning. Now, it was first reported at around 6:25 a.m. Viewers from Waikele on Oahu to Kona on Hawaii Island reported seeing the lights. It's not yet clear what the light was, but it is believed to be a part of SpaceX's Starlink satellite program. I was hoping so, which launched 60 satellites from Florida late yesterday.
I watched that take off yesterday. We were watching it in the newsroom, the rocket. It's always so beautiful to watch those launches. And like you said, we saw something similar to this happen last year. Last year, a few months ago when this happened. You know, the goal of this satellite system is to provide global internet service to everyone. And there, like we said, two similar ones happened last year. Saw some very similar streaks in the sky. Cue X-Files music.
But it was really cool to see, though.
Yeah, cool to see the launch. And when things like that happen, it's always cool to see the social media reports come in.
Yeah.
And then watch you guys on Sunrise, figure out what
different
happened.
angles.
Thanks for informing us. All right, what did you think, when you were a young Lacey, what did you think the car of the future would look like?
Oh, I mean, hovercrafts. We would totally be flying.
Right? Where's my flying DeLorean?
Yeah.
Right?
A CES in Las Vegas is officially underway, and it's not just computers and smartphones. Several automakers are revealing the vehicles of tomorrow. CNET's Kara Tsuboi had a glimpse of what we could see down the road, Jonathan.
All right, let's check this out.
This Mercedes looks like something out of science fiction, and right now it is. The Vision AVTR is a concept vehicle that could drive autonomously or be operated with a single controller. It would be powered by organic batteries with menu options projected on the driver's hand. The design is inspired by the movie Avatar, and the film's director, James Cameron, helped with the unveil at CES.
I look at this vehicle here, I see the future.
Honda has its own idea of what the future holds. The concept car can drive itself or be controlled entirely by the steering wheel. There are no pedals.
And you can push on it a little bit and it'll speed up.
I got to take a spin in a simulation with Honda's Marcos Frommer. The steering wheel responds to touch, and a tired driver can transfer it over, letting the passenger take the wheel.
Some people may want to watch a movie, some people may want to work, some people may want to experience the pleasure of driving.
Of still driving.
Yeah.
BMW is rethinking the interior of tomorrow, this one with passengers in mind. There's a comfy chair, an adjustable footrest, a small table, and even cup holders to heat or cool your beverage. Hyundai is taking off in a new direction. The automaker is teaming up with Uber to create flying taxis. The electric SA1 model would lift off vertically at busy cities and reach 180 miles per hour. Roadshow's Tim Stevens says the new convenience could be a reality in 5 to 10 years.
Car will pick you up and take you over the traffic to get where you need to go quickly and quietly and efficiently as well.
Bridgestone has an idea that won't fall flat. It's one of several companies designing tires without air. The flexible, puncture-proof wheels made from recycled rubber are already on some bicycles. Experts believe we could see them on cars in a few years. I'm CNET's Kara Tsuboi for CBS News, Las Vegas.
Impressive.
Very cool stuff there.
That looks really cool.
Those airless wheels, we got to do that. That's very cool.
And it's made out of recycled plastic too, so it's...
Yeah, actually, all those little tire fabrics that we're using now, those rubber tire fibers end up in our oceans. They're really tiny microplastics, not good.
Can you imagine though flying over the H1, H2 merge? That would be pretty amazing, just bypassing all the traffic.
Yeah, and it looked like an Osprey aircraft.
It did.
Yeah, that vertical and then, horizontal movement. I know, very cool. Not so sure about like the hands-free controller thing.
A little distracting.
Yeah, wouldn't that be more? I guess as a visual display, I guess, but
Avatar-ish.
Yeah, very Avatar. Yeah. All right, guys, let's take you outside. Look at our cameras still bouncing around. Bad hair day alert, folks.
Tie it back.
Yeah, definitely tie it back. We're gonna be back here tomorrow. Lacey and I will see you on Wednesday.